I'm counting. I'm counting anyway. Here we go. All right. Yes, I have to put that count in there. It's like the theme, the unofficial theme song, even though everybody has it. So
but it's snowing.
Yes, it's got a little festive feel this time and all the time. So this is the Writer's Block with Sarah and friends. I'm your host, Sarah, and these are my other hosts, my friends, Dinah, Trevor, and Claire. So everybody's mics on?
Yeah.
Should be. I don't know why it was like extra silent today. So
we were enraptured by your opening.
Oh
yes.
Yes. So today we are having a special Writer's Block. I'm going to start out first with Emilio Rodriguez, founding artistic director of Black and Brown Theater.
Yay.
We are going to be doing a fundraiser for them today. So we'll be talking with him for a bit about one of the programs called Our Voices Project. And if you guys want to chat with him or ask him any questions in regards to the project or to the show itself, feel free to talk to him. So we're going to put the link in advance right now. I'm also going to put the link in our group, big old chat thingy.
Wait, there it is. There it is, people.
Spell it right,
and
too.
You're like,
it's, kind of backwards on screen. There we go. Important, seriously.
So it's paypal.me/B and B theater. I spelled the theater way. And I'm going to post it right there. So at any time that you want to donate, feel free to donate. If you want to copy it down, if you are like me, you don't get paid till Tuesday, but you want to donate funds, jot this link down and send your donations. Again, this is a nonprofit company, and December 31st is coming up. I know a lot of people are going to want to do those tax write-offs and all that good stuff. So this is definitely the place to donate because it does go towards a good cause. Dinah, you're part of Black and Brown Theater Company too as well, right?
Yeah, I've done some shows with Emilio and Black and Brown Theater, and woohoo, yay. I still remember how we met. I went to an audition, and it was in Detroit at the Bald Family YMCA, if any of you guys are familiar with that. And it was like a general audition, and after I was done, he stopped me. He said, "Hey, we're looking for people, especially actresses in their 40s, and we'd love to have you as part of it." I said, "Okay." And that is how we did. And he'll like email me different opportunities and stuff just to, keep it going. So he's really, he really does, and he knows his stuff. And, he's a tough director, but he's fair too. So if you hear me talking about you, Emilio.
And speaking of which, it looks like we have him in our studio. Are you ready to join us? You're good? I'll just add you in here. Hey!
Hi.
There he is. Hey.
Hi, so, we just started. Link is up for the donation. Wait, is this reading right? Okay, because it's hyperlinked and it looks weird. So yes, we're got the donation and everything set up, and you're here to talk with us today. And if there's anybody that has questions, we can go ahead and try to read from the chat as well as we're going along.
Sounds great.
All right. So tell us a bit. Let's see. Because I know this is internationally blasted all over the world. For those who are not familiar with Black and Brown Theater, is it all right if you just give us a brief history of the theater company?
Sure. Yeah. So we started in 2016. And for those who don't know, I'm originally from California, so I'm used to a much more, or much less homogenous community in theater and in neighborhoods and whatnot. And so I was particularly interested in seeing more of a mix in the theater scene. And particularly, I think there have been some plays that I've seen in Michigan that were, exclusively an all white cast or exclusively an all black cast. And maybe once or twice you could get like a half black, half white cast. But I wasn't really seeing a lot of casts that were like Black and Latino and Asian and Arab and really more what America as a whole looks like. And so that's what we wanted to do, is have more of a diversity on all levels on the stage. And so in 2016 we started the company, and with just showcases, just doing 10-minute plays, saying here are some actors you can look at, cast them in your projects. And then we started seeing that people were hungry for expansion, and so that's when we expanded to doing shows. And then we started rethinking, why does theater always have to take place in a conventional theater space? And that's when we started performing at libraries, churches, community centers, rethinking outdoors, rethinking where we could do theater. And then in 2018, we started our Voices program. So we had been rethinking where we could do theater. In 2018, we started rethinking who gets to be a gatekeeper to theater. And we wanted the community to be that gatekeeper of writer and director. And so with the Our Voices project that we launched in 2018, it started with high school students, teaching them how to write their own play, and then they cast and direct the play with actors from our company. And then 2019, it expanded to just community members in general. And then this year, 2020, it expanded to, we were working with some senior citizens and older populations. And because of COVID, their projects are going to be filmed, which will be really exciting, because then we can put it on YouTube and lots of audiences can see it.
Nice. So let's see here, because you covered a lot of the questions I was going to have. Because I noticed in the film that we were provided, there were a lot of the younger people that were writing, and you did mention older citizens writing as well. I noticed that one of the gentlemen said that they're not given a prompt; they can just write whatever they want. So how do they go through the process of going from like an idea of their brain to it being performed on the stage?
So we guide them through a class, and the class sort of ranges depending on the funding and the grant that we have, but usually anywhere from 4 weeks to 10, as long as 10 weeks. And then throughout that course, we're teaching the community members how to write a play, and we're just giving them the basic structures. What is a common sort of foundational elements of a play? Having a protagonist, having a protagonist who wants something specific, an antagonist who has the power to give it to them. And over the course, we're going to watch whether or not they get it. So that's really the only sort of parameters they get. But other than that, we're talking directly to the community members about what are things that they're excited about. So they're spending that first day sort of brainstorming what movies they already have seen and love, what plays they've seen and love, what books they've read that they love, and what are also some movies and books and plays that they didn't love, and why didn't they love it, so they can make sure that they're being specific and intentional about what they're choosing to include in their stories.
Nice. I like that. All right. Let's see. So how do people usually get involved with the Our Voices program?
So community members usually just reach out to us, unless there's a funding involved where they want us to partner with a specific community or specific organization, then we'll reach out to that organization. But typically a community member or any sort of community that has like a group of people will reach out to us and say, we want to do like an Our Voices project. And then from there, it's just about us making sure we secure the funding for it if they're not able to pay for it. But if they're able to pay for it, then they can just pay for it themselves. And then the actors are all from our database. So we have a database of currently over 100 actors that we just have their headshot and resume. And so that's sort of how we go about selecting and reaching out to actors. And we sort of try working with actors in some smaller projects, and then sort of evolve up into larger projects.
Great. I'm trying to get some prompting going.
So Emilio, I'm Trevor, by the way. Good to meet you.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
What are your guys planning for when you can go back to doing live theater again? Are you still planning to do some of the online stuff as well, or are you moving all the way back?
That's a great question. I want to definitely keep some of the digital stuff that we've done. Like currently we're doing a project we're launching our second round of All the Web's a Stage, and we've partnered with the Anton Arts Center in Macomb. And so that was something we had invented, a new series we'd invented during COVID times over the summer. And basically we have actors, we sort of, again, flipping who gets to make the decision power. So this time we had actors making the decision power instead of typically we see actors audition for directors or audition for an artistic director and hope that they get the part. But this time we wanted to flip it and have actors doing the choosing of this is the part I will play. And having that community connection. So anyone from around the world could write a monologue for each actor, and then the actor would pick their favorite one to then record and put on our YouTube page. And then for the Anton Arts Center one, it's gonna be live on Zoom. But what's really cool about that too is also reframing sort of people's idea that some theater companies can unintentionally group all actors of color as sort of one type. And I know, Dinah, you had talked about this in one of our videos where it was just like, oh, you're a Black woman, so therefore you're going to play this type. But it's like, no, everyone's, I mean, even you and Sarah and other actors can play different types because you're a different person. And so that's really what we want to, and it sounds crazy that we have to like explicitly address it, but like we do, because actors, artistic directors will email me all the time, like, I need a Black woman. I'm like what age range, what personality type? Is this a dramatic role, a comedic role? Like, is there anything in the script that hints at what she has to look like? Is it, there's so many, but they'll just email, we need a Black woman, we need a Black man. Like, do I send you John? Do I send you Hugh? That could be so many things. So this All the Web's a Stage really encourages audience or artistic directors too, as well as audience members, that like, we can have two Black women and their monologue choices will be completely different. And what you write for them should be completely different, because they're telling you in this promo video, one might be saying, I want a really, like Tori has just put in hers, I want a romantic piece. And then you might have someone like Harvey say, like, I don't want to do romance. Give me a comedy. Let me show off my comedic skills. So that's something we want to really help artistic directors start thinking about, that the character, it's really a character that they're playing, not a race that someone is playing.
Yes, exactly. I'm still looking at the board. I see 5 little eyes. Well, 10. No, my math is bad today. Now I dropped a 4. Damn. Sorry.
We're like, she knows.
Count your visuals there. I'm sorry. There were people watching.
Maybe I upset an artistic director. They're like, you called me out. Fuck off.
Slink in the back, start lurking again. Let's see, what else? I feel like we covered a lot of bases so quickly. Is there anything that you would like to promote or express, or?
So we're filming. I need to stop saying shooting because that sounds bad. We're filming the Our Voices plays, or I guess they're now short films this week. So hopefully they'll be ready January, February, and you can just go to the YouTube page to see all of those. And then we have I didn't talk about our Theater for Young Audiences program, but we have started doing some stuff for young audiences, or as I like to say, theater for families, because so often we forget, like, there'll never be a situation in which an entire audience is just children. Like if it's at a theater, there's usually going to be their parent who took them there, or even if it's at school, then their teachers or administrators, someone else, some sort of adult is going to be in the room. So we're always thinking about that too in the theater for young audiences that we create, that it's not like, Billy the Puppet, but it's got to be something that like an adult can sit through and be like, okay, yes, this is a kid show, but like there's still a story there and there's something I can get out of it. So we're releasing that filmed project. We did a film version of a play. It's an adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, sort of challenging the idea that, again, that gatekeeping aspect, like he is defined as a beast, but why? Because from his perspective, from a beast's perspective, a human could be a beast. So we're sort of flipping that notion on its head. And so the adaptation is called Beast of the Town. That should be going to our YouTube page in January. And then All the Webs of Stage will also go up in January. So if there's any writers listening, then they can write a monologue. They can go to our Instagram, and the videos will go up this week for each actor, and they'll tell everyone who wants to write, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and here's how you submit. And so if you want to write a monologue for one of our actors, those will go up all this week, and you'll have until December 27th to write a piece.
Great. You hear that, writers? I don't know if there's any writers out there, but if you are listening, there's some opportunities out there. Great. Let's see. Any more questions, comments, concerns? Again, if you want to donate to Black and Brown Theater, go to paypal.me/BNB Theater, and also go to blackandbrowntheater.org to visit the website and check them out more. I guess we could go ahead and.
I'll jump in a little. I've been following you guys on Instagram for a while. I don't know how long. And I enjoy like the variety of things I see you guys do, from kind of the like dealing with some of the like, I don't want to say like new talent, but like helping people who are talented overcome the gatekeepy things. Like for a while you're doing a series of like, here's how you audition, which I was really impressed with. I don't know. Do you want to like say a little more about that, or like?
Oh yeah, thanks for touching on that. So we definitely realize that if we want to change how theater is being presented or who gets access to theater, then we got to be a part of that training model as well too. Because some people, like you said, they might have the talent, but they might not have the access to know this is how you audition for certain theater companies who want to see a more traditional setting. So we want to make sure that we're also we haven't done any audition workshops since COVID, but before COVID, we were doing audition workshops that anyone could sign up for, acting classes. We want to continue to do that, figure out how to do it during these COVID times. But working with people who we feel like a lot of people have innate talent, and some people do have some training or some experience in performing in certain venues. And if they want to perform in whatever is deemed as a professional theater, then there's just like some guidelines that are helpful to know that not everyone has access to those guidelines. And so making sure everyone has access to, these are the guidelines, this is how a lot of professional theater companies like to see your headshot formatted, your resume formatted, what an audition can look like, what a slate looks like for a professional theater company, so that everyone can go in and have a chance to show their best self and their most talent in the way that talent is confined to. And I also wanted to touch on, if I could really quick, about use the word variety. And I love that because that's something that we want to do, particularly with the Our Voices program, but with all of our programming, by having a lot of people have a say in what we produce. Also our, advisory board has a say in it. A lot of our actors and people we work with have a say in what we produce. And in Our Voices, we literally hand over the power to community members. But I think that's important because there's not one single person who can represent an entire community. And when you have something like Black and Brown, we're representing multiple communities. And like we just talked about, no one Black person's experience is the same, no one Latino person's experience is the same, no one Asian person, no one Arab American person's experience is the same. So you have to, I think, you don't have to, but I think it's beneficial to get as many voices involved so that you're seeing as many different types of stories, so that all people of color are seeing themselves in a super powerful political piece, but they're also seeing them in a fun, silly, romantic piece. And they're also seeing themselves in a piece for young audiences. And they're also seeing themselves in a piece that's just about family, where is politics involved, and a piece that's just about family where there's no politics involved. And just the full range and variety, I think, is what I want to see. Because when I got here in 2012, every time I was seeing majority white theater companies doing plays about people of color was always about like, what is the most timely political issue, or what is like the overlay that we can do to the 1960s, where like the black person and the white person learn to become friends after their struggle. Like, that's not everyone's story. Some people might be black and white and already best friends, and they never had a conflict, or like they might be married to each other, they never had a conflict, or you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't always have to be like set in the 1960s, because that's the only time you would see a black person and a white person talk to each other, and that it would make sense. So that variety is really, really what I want to see, and definitely what we aim to be a part of, and why we try to give so many people that decision-making power. And hopefully we'll start seeing it in other theater companies too.
Right. Oh, I do have a question from Karen C. She says, will you be offering any playwriting workshops in the future?
Oh, that's a good question. So the Our Voices does have the playwriting classes intertwined within the program, but we haven't thought about doing just playwriting workshops on their own. Because what's cool about the Our Voices is that you're taking this class, and then at the end your piece is produced. So there's sort of like this purpose to writing it. But that's really interesting to think about, just doing playwriting classes just for the joy of playwriting. We did do like a little bit of like stuff on Instagram during quarantine, but formally, email Black and Brown Theater, Karen, and let's get it started.
Yes. I've seen a lot of classes for sketch writing, some classes for screenwriting too, but I have yet to see anything for playwriting. Well, not a whole lot. I think there's a couple of theaters that are doing it, but yeah, definitely would love to see that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yes. Let's see. Do we have anybody else? I'm not.
Did I see that you guys were doing some kind of like princess thing for kids a while back?
Oh,
am I misremembering?
Yes, that was part of our Theater for Young Audiences series. So we had some shows that were specifically like in this princess realm, and that was actually something we had just like tried out sort of last year, just like let's see what, maybe this would be a kind of story that people would be into. And it was like one of our least promoted shows, but most attended. And so if anyone's thinking with the business side, that is like business gold, like least work on your part, most audience on the other part. So that's really something that we started doing more and more of, and it sort of just like snowballed into more and more projects. So it's not something that in 2016 that I had envisioned the company going into, but that's really important when I think about how letting your audience have control. And if your audience is coming to something and saying, we're excited about this, then how do you continue to build out those sort of programs? So yeah, it's not only in the plays, we take those plays to schools, but also we do some like pop-up programs. Dinah actually just did one of our pop-up programs in October, which we had to like modify because it's COVID time, so everyone was wearing masks and being distanced outdoors. But we got kind of lucky on that day because it was in October, so it could have been really cold, but it actually wasn't.
And it was. It was really nice.
Yeah, so we got kind of lucky with that one. But yeah, doing those kind of programs too. So that combination of pop-up visits and full shows. One of our company members, Justino, said it's kind of like bringing Disneyland to people in Michigan, and I was like, I love that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they loved it. They loved it. And I would say I was honored to be part of Heroes Within, which originally started off as a play that was to be presented in the schools, and then the shutdown happened. And we were kind of like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then they got the funding and said, we're going to turn it into a film. Yes. So we were able to turn it into a short film, and yay. So we were able to get that message out. It's about cyberbullying, the message about, cyberbullying and communication between parents and teachers and parents and child, just communication all around is definitely key. And that is something that, I mean, in this day and age really got, and I think now with the shutdown, you kind of, everybody's forced to communicate with each other. And, it's communication. It's not as easy as people think. It really isn't. I mean, that's kind of what I found. But I was honored to be able to be a part of Heroes Within. And I just want to shout out to, actors and actresses of color of all ages. Email Black and Brown Theater, email Emilio. He'll help you out. He'll let you know about opportunities, playwriters, everybody just there.
And that's really interesting that you brought up about Heroes Within, because that really was, we have to thank Kaniki for that, because she was originally hired to just direct it as a stage, like you said, like a stage play that was going to be performed and then available for teachers to bring to their schools. And we just really got lucky that Kaniki is someone who wears so many hats, but her two biggest, I would say, is theater directing and film directing. So she has her BFA in theater and her MFA in film directing. So it was like the perfect person. I don't know if we would have been that lucky if someone else had been our director originally, but she was someone who was just like towards the end when we were getting down to the wire, and it was like, is the world going to shut down right now? And she was like, I think we should maybe pivot to film. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to find the funding. And then like 2 months later, the funding, and we just reached out to everyone like, come on, are you still on board to do it? So
I was like, yes, and huge shout out to Kaniki for all of that. Huge shout out. So,
yes. She actually is directing. We just finished shooting. She's directing one of the films for Our Voices. And she also taught, so for this iteration of Our Voices, we were able to, thanks to the funding from Ann Arbor Community Foundation, shout out to them too, we were able to have teachers work 1-to-1 with the playwright. So they didn't have to like sit in a formal class because it was on Zoom. So they were able to get one-on-one coaching. And Kaniki was one of the teachers or coaches for that. And then she also ended up filming the scene too. So
awesome.
Okay. All right.
And we also did include a link if anybody cares to watch The Heroes Within on YouTube. So this is a really great film. I watched it a few times myself. Got a few new comments. Forrest Hudson III says, "Hey," and it's got like also have another question from Karen. She says, "Okay, I have another one. Can a white actor be part of the actors database?"
That's a great question. The database is specifically for actors of color, to give actors of color the opportunity to be seen. But it doesn't mean that white actors can't work with Black and Brown theater. We actually have a couple working in this iteration of Our Voices, but it's just a matter of what the writers want to see. So the writers wanted to tell a story about a Black character and a white character. And so when that happens, then we'll absolutely work with white actors. But our primary focus is uplifting the voices of theater artists of color, and not just actors too. I love, Dinah, that you brought up Heroes Within, because that was, I mean, I haven't done a lot of film, but I imagine that it must be a really cool experience to have an entire cast and crew of people of color, like everyone behind the scenes too. And, Kaniki shooting it and editing it, and doing the audio. And so, and, having even our people who were doing slates were people of color. So like having that, that experience, I think, is something that's really powerful and not something you get to see every day, but hopefully it'll be more normal.
Yeah. That would be cool.
We got any more questions? I'm checking to see if there's any more that we have out there, because this has been a great chat, and I want more people to get involved. Let's see, what else?
Oh, and if Black and Brown Theater could please do some more classical showcases. Remember that the first thing I did with you was that classical showcase with Romeo and Juliet and all. That was really cool too, because the take of the classics, and the Bard is something that not everybody, that people are afraid to tackle, and we were able to do that. So
Yeah, I would definitely love to do more classic showcase or classic plays. Yeah, bring on the fun. Whoever wants to fund that, make it happen. Email me.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's As a nonprofit worker, yes.
Yeah, oftentimes we say yes anytime the money's there, because that's jokingly, yes, with money's super important, but also it is really important because we want to make sure that our actors are compensated well, and we also want to make sure that we're able to have those nice costumes. We don't want actors to be like, come on, bring your own stuff in. Oftentimes actors have to do that. We got to do with this Our Voices, we had like a specific line for costumes, and we did what we call, I stole this from Tyra Banks. She says H to T, like head to toe costumes, which is like literally we dress them, even their shoes, where we provided like send me your shoe size. So we definitely want to continue to work in that realm, so that actors feel fully supported, and the production value looks great, the costumes look great, everything looks great. So that money is it's unfortunate, the capitalist society we live in, but that money really does make a difference in production values and what we're able to give, the opportunities we're able to give theater artists of color.
So if anyone watching would like to donate and help out with that,
get the link down below.
That is the kind of things that you can make happen.
Yes. That's a really good thing that you use the phrase that you can make happen, because one of the things that's great about a smaller nonprofit, I don't know how big your nonprofit is, but yeah, for ours too. Yeah. So for a smaller nonprofit, what's really great is that people's donation goes a big way. Like someone thinking like, oh, I don't want to give them $5. That's insulting. Like, no, $5, like if a bunch of people give $5, that makes a huge difference in what we can do. And because we don't have a lot of those overhead costs of like a venue, some people are like, oh man, it sucks you don't have a venue. It's like, yeah, but then every donation we get gets to go right into the actual production of the show, which is really special. And also the fact that you said like you can make it happen, I think that's something that a lot of people don't know, is if they are able to do a larger donation, obviously a $5 donation is wonderful and we definitely accept that. But for people who are able to do like those larger chunk donations, they can really have a lot of control with a smaller nonprofit about what they want to see. Like, I'm going to give this big check, but with the caveat that I want to see these kind of performances. Like Dinah was saying, I want to see a classical play happen if I give you this big check. And then we can say, yeah, we can make, for that check, we can make a classical play happen. But also those smaller donations too, that sort of add up and make other things possible too.
Yep. I got another one from Forrest Hudson, says, I love Black and Brown theater.
Oh, yay, Forrest. Forrest actually writing something for us now, so we'll film Tuesday.
Ooh.
Yes. With all the COVID protocols for anyone watching. It's only 2 actors, they get tested, and then everyone else is wearing masks on the set. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any more questions?
I think I got to ask about like your work overcoming gatekeeping, and I got to ask about the pretty princesses. So that's all my questions.
Yay! Who doesn't love pretty princesses?
Right. Well, I think we've had a good time. We've been on for like 35 minutes. It's really great. But thank you so much, Emilio, for coming on to the show and joining us. And hopefully you've got a flood of donations coming in. I know a lot of people, if they don't catch the show live, they do watch it afterwards. So things might still be trickling in, like, oh yeah, I saw writer's block. You might get something from 5 years later. The site is up and we forget and somebody puts $5,000 down. It's like, all right.
Woo! Always a good number.
right. Well, thank you again so much for your time. But again, anybody who wants to donate, the links are down below. And if you want to go visit the website, blackandbrowntheater.org.
Awesome. Thank you
All right.
all.
You're
Thank
welcome.
Thank you
you.
so much.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Nice to meet
You
you.
too. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Yay, Emilio.
Awesome.
It's always great to have people on. And this is the first fundraiser, again, that we're helping other theaters and other theater communities. Because I know it has been a bit rough for everybody. I was even just at a
Right.
antique store in Clawson earlier today. Just happened to be there, and they were talking about how rough it is for small businesses and supporting everybody. So we're trying to do what we can. Hopefully, we'll get some other communities coming up in the next couple months. I know we always do once a month here at our program. And we'll go ahead and right now do what we usually do, and that is reading.
Shark Cat.
Yes. So today we've got part 2 of Dinah's piece, the spelling test. Part 2, there's nice, there's naughty, and then there's this. Did you want to give them a quick breakdown? I mean, should we give them like a background on what the first one was?
Yeah. The original first one was Santa, Mrs. Claus, and then there was Satan. Well, what happened was they were going through letters. It was said it's almost Christmas time, and Santa and Mrs. Claus are going over the letters. Well, in the letters, instead of writing Dear Santa, some kids were writing Dear Satan. And it was like, what? Did these kids not know how to spell? So there's Dear Satan, Dear Satan. And then who comes knocking on the door? Good old Satan. Now, as it turns out, Santa and Satan, or as he called Lucifer, they're brothers. Their mother is Mother Goose. That's how I put it. And Santa said, like, okay, well, she's like, Satan, what are you doing here? Lucifer, what are you doing here? He's like, well, I heard my name. No, this is a mistake. They spelled it wrong. Well, listen, since my name is on those letters, how about I take all the letters with my name and you can take all the letters with yours? So he's like, okay. So in spelling test part 2, because at the end of the first one, Santa says, what is the oh crap, how the ends and how Santa ends the famous poem that I just blanked on because my brain is absolute mush right now.
Is
But
it
he's
Merry
like,
Christmas
good
to
night.
all? Good night.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to all.
Yeah.
Basically, he twisted it into all a dictionary because, I mean, really, how? So in part 2, Satan goes to one of the houses where it was written Dear Satan instead of Dear Santa. So you see what happens when he goes to the Gable house. And he meets little Missy Gable.
All right.
Oh. All right, Tom, if everybody is ready without further ado, here we go. Okay, so, and I'm just going to do the dramatis personae, basically characters real quick. You got Satan, who's your friendly neighborhood dark lord, little Missy Gable, the young lady in question, and you got the off-voice stages of our parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gable. So the time is set, early Christmas morning, 2020, about 1 o'clock in the morning. The place, the Gable family living room, complete with fireplace. It's thankfully out. I mean, you don't want Satan burning his behind. It's early Christmas morning. Everyone is tucked in their beds, or at least they should be. All is quiet in the Gable living room, which is clean but middle of the road shabby, until we hear the sound of hooves landing on the roof. There is an animal snort, and then Satan's panicked.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And then the sound of a fire extinguisher.
That's the last time you get fireball treats before we leave. I can't have you guys burning houses down.
Santa comes down the chimney with his red and black sack of toys. His outfit is black and shiny, over which he wears a fuzzy long red overcoat, topped off with black boots and red trim. His hat matches the overcoat, the black pom-pom, and a black pointed tail sticking out of his overcoat. Dinah, and I want you guys to imagine this, okay, as we're reading this. Near the couch As he goes in, there is a table with a veggie tray and dip, along with a bottle of water. He looks at it a bit confused. He tastes the veggie and the dip, and then he starts putting the presents underneath. Little Missy Gable quietly slips in while Satan is busy. She wears a red and black buffalo print nightgown. She watches him silently until he finishes and turns around.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in bed?
I couldn't sleep. Who are you? You're not Santa.
Who says I'm not?
First of all, your colors are wrong. Red, yes, but black, no. No. And you're not fat. You're rather cut, in fact.
Um,
Plus, I figure that when Santa's around, it smells like cinnamon and cookies. Right now, it smells like burning socks. And I'm pretty sure that Santa doesn't have a tail. So who are you?
okay, you got me. So you want to know who I am?
Lights change to dark red. A heavy metal guitar riff plays, then the music begins building. Think old Metallica's Am I Evil? Then he moves center stage.
I am the Dark Lord, the master of all evil, the one whom they call.
You know, that guitar's a little loud. I don't want to wake up my parents.
Oops, I'm sorry. I'm Satan, also known as Lucifer, but mostly Satan.
What in the world are you doing here? Shouldn't you be down below?
I'm here because you wrote me.
What?
You wrote to me. Here.
Pulls a folded letter out of his pocket, unfolds it, and
Dear Satan, my name is Missy Gable. Please bring me a new watercolor set, Barbie Holiday doll, and the latest Grey's Anatomy and Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition. Thank you. Aren't you a little young for the DSM?
The mind intrigues me. Never mind that. I was writing to Santa. He's supposed to be here, not you. You should be roasting people or something.
Celebrity roasts are just so good. They're sold in DVD sets on QVC. Look at the letter though. Missy, you wrote Satan.
hands her the letter. Missy reads it but doesn't say anything. And a smirk slowly grows across her face.
Incidentally, you did ask for some really cool things. I take it you pay attention in school, eh?
Straight A's since the first day. Hey, as long as you're here, can I ask for a favor or two?
You do realize asking me for favors comes with a rather wicked price.
I know. Yeah. You see, I didn't think you'd actually show up. I figured Santa would be here instead. It is Christmas. But since you're really, really, really here, though.
Whoa. Hold on here. You wrote me on purpose?
Sorry. Sorry about that. Almost had to get the sign. And we're back. Yep. Right on the nose. Or in your case, horn. Now, listen. I need to be successful so I can get my family out of poverty. My parents think I don't know, but I can hear them talking about money and the lack of it. And I also heard them talking about this house and how there might be the lack of this house soon. Just as recently as last night. And I'm actually surprised you're here, but this is perfect. I can give you my soul in exchange for a fast track successful career. I can bring in money and they won't even ever have to worry about struggling again. We can have a good night's sleep for a change. If anyone can get it done, you can.
What? Kid, how old are you?
12.
How did you ever think of something like this?
On our last family vacation, we went down to Georgia.
Oh, crap. I thought you looked familiar. Now, listen, Missy. I can't take your soul. You're way too young. You have to be at least 18 before I can even consider it. Plus, you have your whole life ahead of you. Just keep hitting the books. Work hard. You got a good head on your shoulders. You don't want to waste it now.
The Lord of Darkness is saying no. You're not known for having second thoughts.
It's a lot of paperwork. I can't deal with it now. Plus, it's Christmas. You might change your mind as you get older. Matter of fact, here.
Hands Missy 3 small boxes.
Santa gave these to me for your extra special homes. These are hand-woven bracelets by the elves. That's so when you get them to your parents, you can tell them you made them in school and you won't have to explain about money. Look, I have to go. There's other houses on my list.
So these are good luck charms?
Think of them as positivity symbols. I see good things for you, Missy Gable. Trust me, coming from me, that's saying a lot.
Okay. I did have a contract already signed on my end. It just needed your signature.
She goes to the table with the veggie tray and grabs a contract, shows it to him. Satan looks at it and he whistles, impressed.
You've really thought this through. Airtight contract. You got a relative who's a lawyer? You'd better get to bed. It's almost time to get up. Shred the contract. The last thing you need is your parents finding that and thinking you worship me at 12. Oh, and by the way, interesting snack idea with the veggie tray. Pretty good dip you got there.
Thanks. Figured Santa or you would want a healthy snack for a change.
They share the devil horned hand sign. He ruffles her hair, takes the bottled water, and makes his way to the chimney where he is sucked upwards. Weird jingling bells are heard, an off-key version of Santa's holiday bells. Missy sneaks off. Lights fade.
It's Christmas. Everybody ready to open their... Oh, my goodness. What's that smell? Really, Kenneth? That's disgusting.
Hey, that wasn't me. I would have claimed that.
No, Mom and Dad, that's new incense we're selling at school. It's called brimstone.
The end.
Yay.
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 Woohoo. Right.
All right. So it looks like towards the beginning of the script, let's see, what page was that? I think we just got 2 pages into Missy. Victor Jones asked how old Missy Gable was. But I saw later on, a few pages after, we brought her age in. It's 12. Oh, this is page 4. So
Yeah, I meant to. I think I had when I wrote it, I had meant to put her age as 12 and forgotten, and I had it later on down there. I should have put it like at the top so everybody would know right away. But yeah, she's about 12.
yep. Yeah, for a second, got me because for a second I read the wrong version. And I knew that was going to happen. It's like, make sure you're reading version 2. Like, don't read the first version. And sure enough, I'm like,
Yeah, I don't.
they're ad lib.
I don't want people like looking at me like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you writing that?" Because the first version, because I know people won't know this, but the first version had Missy write to Santa because she wanted Santa to take out her competition. Because she wanted to be head of the class. So she wrote Santa and she's like, "Okay, I need you to take out this girl. And here's a list of ways you can torture her to death." And it was like, yeah, let me write this second version before I have people like, what is wrong with him? I didn't want to write the version of what the good son, like the
Right.
female version of Macaulay Culkin's character, so I was like, yeah, let me write something a little bit brighter. I probably should have had, I was thinking about it, I should have had like an epilogue, like, Missy became a highly successful, because it really would have rounded out and closed everything out. So I'll add that later on. And
That's
maybe
for
if
part 3.
Yeah. Yeah, Missy sitting in her high-rise office years later. Satan, what's up?
Yeah, Victor says, shouldn't the costume design and set design be left to the production designer and director, or does Dinah foresee herself as the director?
Well, it could be. The reason that I had the costumes the way they were is because I wanted, of course, Satan is usually depicted as either red or black or even a combination of both. And with Missy, I kind of wanted her to be like, I guess, an offset version. That's why I also put her in a red and black. So they kind of had the same colors. So that's why I did that.
Yeah, I like this one.
She ended.
It does kind of have a bit of a sad tone. Like the first one where she wants to take out her opponent. It's like, yeah, that's 12-year-old mean girls, like right to it. And this one is like, okay, she's thinking about her family too. And it's like, especially around this time of year, it's like, okay, kids, they see what's going on in the household. And it's like, I'll give everything. And kids do, they'll do so much to try to help the family out because everybody wants to be happy. And to see that, and then to see Satan respond like, no, you're too young. Like, no, I'm not going to take your soul. That I like that quality about it. So that's why I like the second one. So we had, Victor says, if Dinah went to the original version of Missy, wouldn't that give her a character arc?
Possibly, yeah. It would have been. I mean, it would have been that we would have seen a lot darker side of Missy. She's that straight A student, but she's got that dark side, which is what a lot of people would like to see. Sometimes, well, I would say like to see, but you would see that contrast. Straight A student, because a lot of people think straight A students, they're I don't want to say goody two shoes, but they're well behaved. They do what they're supposed to. But then, you got that side where it's like, okay, I got to take this girl out. Can you, take her out? But it's not just take her out. It's take her out with, pain and impunity. Don't even, don't hold back. And
Not
it's
even
kind of
like
like,
bye-bye, but like suffering.
right, exactly. You can put in whatever dark torture, I guess, you want. But the fact that it would be coming from a 12-year-old girl is like, yeah, okay. But like I said, this time I kind of got, I guess I got, like, I thought about it a little bit, and I'm like, I don't want to do too dark. This time, I mean, hey, maybe the next time after the holidays, I may just go completely 50 Shades Black. No,
Tune in for our January
yeah,
episode.
yes, sir. But this time, I guess I kind of pulled the arc the other way, and made it where she was concerned about wanting to support her family, so there would be less stress, and have when she said that we can have a good night's sleep for a change. So
That is very real right in this moment.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
yeah, definitely. Well, there's the saying that kids know more than you think,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, I know a lot of parents, like, they'll try to hide it or soften it or do it in a way where they don't think the child will understand, or like, soften it basically. But children actually pick up a lot more than we realize. So
Got another from Victor. It says, does Dinah see a way to make this play self-contained without the first part? And what is the audience to take as Satan's motivation for rejecting Missy's offer?
okay, self-contained. Oh, without you mean like the first version? Yes,
Yeah.
it could be. The only reason I explained the first version is just so we could have like a starting off point and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
This could be done without it.
Yeah, because even just reading it without the context, because I was debating about asking to provide that, but we could probably do that on our own without the explanation of the part one. And I think that people would come across with the whole Satan Santa thing, and that does get explained. So
yeah, it could be done without the first part at all. Because like I said, I mean, I don't think there's any people that accidentally will misspell Satan as Santa, or vice versa, anything like that. But yeah, it definitely could be done without the first part at all.
Yep. Oh, let's see. And what is the audience to take as Satan's motivation for rejecting Missy's offer?
For this, like she said, Satan's not known for saying no. For some odd reason, there's something about Missy that I guess softened, as if you can imagine that, his heart, and he's looking at her like, okay, if I take this 12-year-old child's soul, yeah, no. So there is something about her that he takes pity upon, and he's like, no, look, you're too young. You gotta, you have your whole life ahead of you. It's something, I guess, take away that even Satan has scruples, I guess. If that's the right word to use at this point. He has limits. We'll make it simpler. That even he has his limits. So that's kind of one of the things that can be taken away from the play.
All right. I think that pretty much covers everything. People are dropping all of a sudden now. They're like, oh, this is done. I'm done. I'm going. Bye.
Peace.
Wait, don't you have anything else? Like, did you write down a link to donate? I hope we got some today, because that would make me so happy.
Yeah.
Let me say thanks for the questions, Victor. Thanks for the questions. I really do appreciate that, and everybody that hung around to listen, and for the whole thing, and listening to the reading too. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Oh, he's got one more question. Why is Missy up in the middle of the night? Why aren't her parents wondering why she's up?
Well, she snuck out. I envisioning her because she probably heard, Satan made like tiny noises or whatever, some sort of noise, and she heard it. Her parents are up, they were in bed sleeping. When parents are asleep, a lot of times they don't, depending on how heavy they sleep. She just happened to overhear and was like, that's not. She saw the tail. That's not Santa. What is going on here? Okay.
And
And
plus,
she's secretly getting excited.
I don't think my parents would have paid attention to me being up at 12. 12 years old. It's like, girl, you don't go to bed, do something else with your time, read a book, something.
Or parents might have figured she had to use, go to the bathroom. How many of us haven't woken up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom or something? So,
A drink of water.
they could have figured that. Yeah, that too.
It feels very in the character. She has like a full contract written up that she wrote herself. We're waiting for him, ready to go.
Yeah. She'll be eager to have him read that.
Yeah, it was almost like she kind of knew that he was going to be there, although she wasn't sure. She's like, okay, just in case, I'm going to put this right over here. And then when she saw him, she's like, yes,
it's happening.
It's happening. He's here.
Thank you again, Dinah, for your pieces.
Thanks, guys, for reading them. Yay.
So tune in next month. We meet every second Sunday here at all of our channels: Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Unfortunately, they're not doing Instagram yet. Not sure who we're going to have raising monies for, but we're going to get somebody. And if not, then we'll have one of our writers from the writing community send us a piece that we'll read. And also, if you would like, no, I don't want to ticker that. What am I doing? Take that off. I'm talking to myself, and we're live.
It's as I will just say, like, we've had a couple of big like work events on Zoom recently. It's one of those things when someone else is doing it, you're like, well, you just press a button. But when you have like people watching it, you're like, it didn't do the thing. Where's the?
And the cat is bothering me now too. So please email the writersblock2020@gmail.com. And just to reiterate, that is the only email that we have. Apparently there was some sort of weird thing that was happening to one of our accounts, where there was some weird thing at twbhr@gmail. That's not us. No, it's the writersblock2020@gmail.com. So if you want to submit your pieces, feel free to send it to that email address. We're accepting for 1X, play excerpts, sketches, screenplay excerpts, prose, creative nonfiction, poetry, whatever you have. Even if it's something that we cannot read but has been written, we'll take it. All right. So, yes, definitely send us an email, send us an inquiry, and we'll give you background on how you can become a part of this whole show. All right.
Yes. Yeah. Please send your material. Like, if you're on the fence, just send it. We'd love to work with you. I'm so excited about it. I dropped my earbud. But yeah, we would love to read what you're working on.
Yes, even for 1X. Not 1X. First drafts. This cat is bugging me.
Ashley.
She's like all tapping on me. Minutes before we're supposed to go. Don't growl at anybody. This is not work. So she's just
her fate is the judgment. All the judgment.
The judgment on her face. She will. Anytime she sees my bosses, I don't know why, because I would like for us to keep this job, but she'll growl at them. But yes, if you have a first draft, send it. I mean, that's what revisions are for. Get feedback, ask some questions. Maybe just need a second pair of eyes, or in this case, infinity amount, because I can't do math on live streams. But yes, definitely definitely send it to us. Don't be afraid. Like Claire says, don't be scared. Like,
yeah, we love new literary adventures, poem, plays. Send it all. We will treat it with tender loving care.
all genres, everything.
Mm-hmm.
All
And
right.
please, if you have a few extra dollars, donate to Black and Brown Theater.
Yes.
I'm gonna put that link. I'm gonna copy it and paste it again in our chat. Even though I'm about to close this out. Bam. One more time. All right. Thanks again for coming to our show. Have a happy, safe holiday because it's getting wild out there. Please wear your mask, wash your hands. Maybe we might be able to do this show with a live studio audience. Like that would be fun. So
that would be
great. But please help do your part and try not to kill the people who are not.
Just everybody stay as safe as you can. We love y'all.
Safe, please. And have a happy, safe, healthy, wealthy, prosperous holiday season. And we'll see you in the new year.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Bye.